Hello, Rezlife. My name is Catherine Price, and I'm a senior at Blue Valley High School. Go Tigers! I have been going to Rezlife for 3 years, and I also sing in the band. So I'm gonna lead the intro today for you guys, and I'm not really one for games, so I'm just gonna ask you all how online school is going. Have any of you had any super embarrassing moments on a Zoom call with your classes yet? If you have, drop them in the comments, but let me tell you about mine. I was in a Zoom call for my calc class, and I was sitting outside because it was so nice out. And what I didn't know is that a bird would decide to make my head its bathroom. So in the middle of the Zoom, there were 12 people in it, a bird pooped on my head. And it wasn't on the front, so it wasn't obvious enough where I could just get up and scream and run away and people would know what happened. It was on the back of my head. And because I didn't want to draw attention to myself, I just sat there and let the bird poop just run down the back of my head. And it was the grossest thing I have ever experienced. But I couldn't do anything because no one saw it, except for a couple of my friends who, when I looked back into the Zoom, they were dying laughing. But if I got up and ran away, my teacher would ask what happened, and I really wasn't about to be remembered as the girl who was pooped on by a bird. So if you've had any crazy experiences, or you're just absolutely hating online school, go ahead and drop that in the comments, and I can't wait for another great Represent series. And now join our amazing student team for worship.
When you look at me, who do you see?
When you look at me,
What do you see?
When you see me, what do you think I am about?
What do you think I stand for?
I am just one person.
But I stand for something much bigger than myself.
my life was given to me by God.
And I want to use my life to show God to the world.
Some people say that youth are the future of the church.
But youth are the present of the church too.
We are the church right now.
When you see me,
I hope you see God shining through me.
It's my time.
It's your time.
It's our time
To represent.
What's up, Rezlife? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. My name is Trevor Sinclair. Good evening and welcome to the Represent Series week number 2. Molly did a great job last week and I'm super excited to lead this week, and hopefully I can just do half as good as she did last week. Today, I want to talk a little bit about courage. Having courage, what is courage? How do we deal with it? What do we do with it? How do we be bold in our faith? How do we be confident in ourselves? And how do we attack and conquer the world with this insane radical faith? But before we do that, I want to get a little bit of user engagement. I want to know y'all are still there. So I don't know where the comment section is, whether it's over here or over there or down there or wherever it is. Let me know what you're kind of doing during this quarantine. What are you doing? Like, you going outside, you walking your dogs, you watching Netflix, you watching TikToks. I've watched a lot of TikToks. It's kind of bad, really. There's a lot of weird trends going on, like dances and all these skits and whatnot. I saw one from David Dobrik today that was like, he's giving out free Chipotle to like 5 people, and you just have to like make a TikTok about it. It's like so weird. But one that I saw a lot of, and one that I thought was like the weirdest of all of them, was like, I don't know, like there's this weird trend going on where like people like shave their heads. I don't know what the deal was. Like I don't know who would do that to themselves. Like, that's just such a bad move. Like, why would you do that? I think we're gonna have some video of some like local dumb kid shaving his head, so you guys can watch that now.
Do you just want it straight down the middle?
I guess that's what we're doing. Holy cow.
Okay, what's that? You ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna go just get her done.
Okay.
Oh my. Oh wait.
this little patch, hold on. It's like so patchy. Is there a message you want to say?
No.
You feel liberated?
Yeah, I do. I feel good.
Courage.
Courage.
So yeah, it was me. I shaved my head. I feel like the Buddha, but it's a pretty good time. And my little brother told me I look like the last airbender, but yeah, so a little crazy. And today, as I said earlier, I want to talk about courage. And it took a lot of courage for me to shave off my head. And there were a lot of people that said, you should not do that. My family was like, I don't know about that. My girlfriend said that she was going to break up with me. And it was a general consensus that I would not look good. I would look like an egg, and I think I still do look like an egg. But when all these people started telling me that I couldn't do something, or when something looked so daunting as shaving off all my hair, shaving off my wonderful golden locks that I used to have, it made me feel really self-conscious about myself. Like, can I do this? If I do this, do I lose something about myself? Do I lose something about my style, my personality, just because of an adamant object like hair, you know? And I remember how I was thinking about how I was going to connect this to faith, and I remember this age-old story that everybody knows. Everybody learns it in Sunday school as a kid, and if you haven't learned it, that's fine. We're going to talk about it right now. It's this age-old story of David and the Goliath. It's in 1 Samuel, if you want to follow along. 1 Samuel 17. It's the whole chapter. And it's the classic story of David and the Goliath. And I think we always talk about, how David had a slingshot, but I want to talk a little bit about before that. There's 2 groups here. There's David's group, which is the Israelites, and there's Goliath's group, which is the Palestinians. I think that's how I'm saying it. Philistines are super, super, super good at fighting. And the Israelites are just trying to hold their ground. But the Philistines come over and they attack the Israelites, trying to take all their land. And the Israelites have to find a way to stand up to them. And the Philistines, the one thing they had that nobody else had was this guy named Goliath. And this Goliath dude was giant. I mean, wow. Like, it says in here that he was 9 feet tall, a big, big dude. You do not want to mess with this guy. Not to mention he had this giant sword and all this giant armor. You were not going to penetrate him. It was just like not going to happen. You're not going to be able to do it. So, like, I don't... So then all these Israelites see this big Goliath guy, and they're like, how the heck are we going to go against this guy? There's no way. And they all look to the king of like, how are we going to defeat him? Because Goliath says to them, I need one person that can go against me, and if you defeat me, we'll leave, right? And everybody looks at each other. All the Israelite soldiers look at each other like, there's no way we can do this because he's just so strong, so big. And the king looks at him and he's like, I can't even do this myself because he's 9 feet tall. He's giant. And there's this small, rather insignificant little shepherd boy that lives out in the countryside. And he has brothers that are in the army, and he starts hearing whispers of this Goliath guy and what they're going to do to fix this problem because he's such a big threat, and he's so large, and nobody knows how to deal with him. And, you know, he starts hearing murmurs and stuff, and at first he's very scared. He's very scared of the 9 foot tall giant beast that might take over his land. But then he realizes that he shouldn't be scared of a 9 foot tall giant beast that might take over his land. Not because the 9 foot giant beast Goliath isn't scary, but because he has God by his side. All right, we get into it, and David says that he's not scared of them. He can come against him with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you with the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies in Israel, and whom you have defied. He's so convicted. He's so passionate about his faith that he doesn't care how scared he personally is about Goliath or his size or his strength or his weapons. He just knows that he has God on his side, and God will save his people. He will save his land. And he uses that, and that's what propels him forward. He doesn't go and try and get armor. They try and put armor on him, but it's too big. It doesn't even fit him. So he just decides to go in his street clothes, and he grabs 5 pebbles from the creek, and he grabs his slingshot, and he goes, and he tries to defeat Goliath. And everyone looks at him like he's absolutely crazy. Even the king doesn't really know if he really should be sending in this young guy to do it. But he goes anyway. Through the power and the conviction of the Lord, he takes down Goliath. We all have seen like the little VeggieTales or whatever of him putting pebbles in the slingshot, him slinging it around and shooting it, and it hits Goliath right between the eyes. And Goliath falls face down. And David didn't defeat Goliath because he was somehow stronger, bigger, faster, had better weapons or anything like that. That's just not the case. David defeated Goliath because he had the courage and the conviction to go against somebody that was defying his Lord and trusting in the Lord that he'll be able to come out on the other side. And I think that's so powerful. And we see it over and over and over again in the Bible. We see it, with I think it's like Meshach, and Abednego, like where they're in the furnace and they trust their God so much. We see it in all these other places, David in the lions, for example, but we see it most with Jesus. Jesus could have easily ran away and tried to hide from the people that were trying to kill him. Instead, he went in there with courage and confidence in his Lord that he was going to deliver him. And through that confidence, that insane faith, that radical faith, he was delivered, like all the ones before him. So while shaving my head might not directly correlate to, necessarily war or being put to death or anything like that, the courage that you have right now, especially in times like this where there's such uncertainty, you don't know what's going on, that's the power that God put inside you to be conquering, to have radical faith, to trust in the Lord your God because no one else can right now. I just want to challenge you guys because I feel like right now there's a lot of people living in a constant state of fear. Not because they want to, but because that feels like their only option. And the Lord says a lot about this. He says it in Psalms and in Kings and in Isaiah and Joshua and everything. And the most powerful verse that I found was a verse, Joshua 1:9. And it says, "Have I not told you, be strong and have strength of heart. Don't be afraid or lose faith, for the Lord your God is with you and will go with you anywhere. And when he says go with you anywhere, that means right now. That means living in this world of uncertainty where we don't know what's going to happen, in a week or a month. We don't know if we're ever going to really get out of our house. We don't know if we're going to see our friends again. And that's okay, because we know that we have the confidence and the courage the Lord gives us to be amazing, to live in the now, to live in the present, to not worry about the things that we can't control, but to instead choose the things that we can control and excel and flourish in them. So this week, I challenge you guys to find something you can be passionate about, something you can be radical about, something you can conquest, something you can find courage in, and do it. Go out and do it. Do it safely, but do it awesomely, because that's what God called you to do. He didn't call you to have this timid faith, this thing where you don't really know what's going on. You don't know, so you're just going to sit back. He calls you to be forceful. He calls you to be alive. He calls you to be powerful in your faith. So that's what I want you guys to do this week. And whether that means shaving your head or just going and being more kind to people on social media or whatever it is, find something that makes you uncomfortable and do it because of the courage in your heart that God gives you. And don't be scared because of the outside world. Find peace in your heart with God. I hope that you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. You're all amazing. And I think we have one of my friends to close us out in prayer.
Hi, my name is Noah Campbell from Resurrection Overland Park. Let's pray. Dear God, we come together on this day to worship you and ask that you can instill hope in us that we can get through these tough times. And we ask for your help that we can show other people who maybe don't know your power, that they can also get through these times and be okay. And we ask, Lord, that you can show us how to go and be your light. In Jesus' name, amen.
Wash your hands and say your prayers, because Jesus and germs, they're everywhere. Stay tuned for announcements.
Hi, I'm Sierra. I'm a sophomore here at Rezlife. Once again, thanks for joining us. We're so glad that you did. Here are a few announcements to get you more engaged this week. We do this on Sundays as well, so make sure you join us here on YouTube at 9 a.m. Want us to come visit you on your driveway? At a safe distance, of course. We would love to come see you. Go to core.org/students and sign up for a staff to come visit. If you would like prayer, please click the link below to submit a request or reach out to your staff or small group leader at core.org/students. Also click below to register your attendance. Finally, like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the content being released. You may have received a link from a small group leader for a Zoom meeting. You can head there now. Otherwise, go to core.org/students to find out how to connect with your small group on Zoom. See you next week for more Represent.